Super Mario Bros. 3, released in 1988 for the Nintendo Entertainment System, is a classic platforming video game developed and published by Nintendo. It is often regarded as one of the greatest NES games of all time, and is a landmark title in the Super Mario series. Super Mario Bros. 3 is the last major Mario video game for the NES. It was released on 1988 in Japan, February 1990 in North America, and August 1991 in Europe. The game was first remade with updated 16-bit visuals as part of the Super Mario All-Stars compilation for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. That version received a further update when it was released for the Game Boy Advance under the title Super Mario Advanced 4. The version I'll mainly be discussing in this video is the Super Mario All-Stars port. Bowser sends his newly introduced Koopalings into 7 kingdoms of the Mushroom World to capture their kings, steal their magic wands, and alter their appearance. Princess Toadstool sent Mario and Luigi to go stop the Koopalings and turn the kings back into their normal forms. After fighting each Koopaling, they receive each king's magic wand and change them back to their normal appearances. However, this was only a distraction so that Bowser could kidnap the princess again. Because of this, the Mario brothers are then made to travel to the Darkland to find Castle Koopa. In turn, they are required to defeat the evil Koopa King and rescue the princess. As you would assume, in-game, players control Mario, or if playing cooperatively, Luigi as well. This is as they traverse through 8 distinct worlds, each with its own unique theme and challenges. The game featured a diverse array of power-ups, such as the Mushroom, Fire Flower, and even my favourite, the Frog Suit. The addition of these power-ups added depth and replayability to the game, offering players different ways to tackle obstacles and enemies. Whilst it's obvious Super Mario Bros. 3 is a timeless classic, being that it helped revolutionize platforming games and also took part in setting the standard for the genre, I would argue that the reason for its innovatability, creativity, and high level of fun are mostly surrounded by its gameplay and core mechanics. Key aspects of the gameplay would be the exceptional level design, the wide range of power-ups, the brand new Overworld Map, the enhancements in boss fights and mini-boss fights, responsive controls, and the new addition of multiplayer, which further enhances the game's excitement. The game's level design was a standout feature, featuring well-crafted and imaginative levels. Each world has a unique theme, ranging from grassy plains to worlds in which everything was made profoundly giant. The levels were filled with secrets, hidden paths, and warp zones that rewarded exploration and added an element of surprise to the gameplay. Grasslands served as the joyful starting point of Mario's adventures, with its lush green plains, vibrant hills, and iconic ground blocks. It introduced players to the classic platforming mechanics of the series. The cheerful atmosphere and straightforward level design provided a perfect introduction to the game's mechanics and set the tone for the grand adventure ahead. The Desert Hill world introduced players to the sandy landscapes, pyramids, and dangerous quicksands. Mario faced new enemies like the infamous Angry Sun and had to navigate through tricky desert-themed levels. Waterland presented players with an underwater-themed world, where Mario swam through coral reefs and aquatic caverns. This world showcased the game's innovative swimming controls and underwater physics. Though with that being said, the world does also feature a few on-land levels as well, thankfully. In Giant Land, Mario encounters oversized enemies and enormous obstacles. The big concept was ingeniously implemented, and players had to adapt to giant-sized platforming challenges. In Skyland, players start on the ground level and then end up transitioning into the clouds. The levels in the Sky section mainly revolve around floating platforms and rotary lifts. Iceland plunged players into a frozen wonderland with slippery surfaces and icy dangers. Navigating through an icy terrain required precise movements, making it one of the more challenging worlds. The Iceland showcased the game's diverse level design and the new Hammer Suit power-up, which unfortunately was the only Mario game to feature it. Pipeland was a surreal world with a maze of pipes. Players had to navigate through interconnected levels and find hidden paths. This world showcased the game's clever level design, encouraging exploration and experimentation. The varying pipe mechanics and connected sides of the screen add depth and complexity to the gameplay, making this world a huge pain in the ass, yet at times rather enjoyable too. Darkland was a foreboding and challenging realm, home to Bowser's menacing castle. This world to me, besides from the last level, is where the game simply stopped being fun. Players face some of the toughest and most challenging levels, with these levels almost all being slow airship levels, which happen to come across as more annoying than fun. It's also probably worth mentioning that when you game over, the levels on the world that you're on become unbeaten and required to be completed yet again. This feature happens to make World 8 just a little bit more of a hellhole. Super Mario Bros. 3 revolutionized the traditional linear level progression by introducing a world map, a feature which is still seen in games today. Players are no longer confined to a sequence of levels in a predefined order. Instead, they can freely navigate through an interconnected map, providing a sense of exploration and adventure not present in the original Super Mario Bros. The perfect example of this would be in World 5, where you can either go up to level 3 or down to the castle. The worlds are brimming with hidden secrets, bonus areas, and alternate routes. Players are encouraged to explore every nook and cranny to uncover additional power-ups, one-ups, and shortcuts, enhancing replayability and rewarding through exploration. Each world in the map features its unique theme and visuals, from lush forests to frosty glaciers, underwater realms to a cloudy environment. The world map adds a layer of diversity and creativity that keeps players engaged throughout the entire journey. While the world map in Super Mario Bros. 3 is a remarkable addition, it does have one significant drawback. Unlike its successor, Super Mario World, players cannot backtrack or revisit previously completed levels. Without the ability to revisit levels, players miss the chance to perfect their skills with the use of a power-up they'd otherwise not be able to find in later levels, or with finding secrets they might have overlooked during their initial playthrough. It might lead to a sense of frustration or an incomplete feeling for completionists. Super Mario Bros. 3 introduces the Koopa Kids, also known as the Koopalings. As the main bosses in each of the game's 7 worlds, each Koopaling has a distinct appearance and personality, making them memorable characters throughout Mario's journey. More importantly, they provide unique and varied attack patterns that test players' skills and adaptability. For example, Lemmy, whilst moving unpredictably, shoots out rings in a burst fire rate, whilst Wendy shoots out singular rings, which can bounce diagonally off of walls, making sure that players need to concentrate for a higher chance of success. The Koopa Kids' diverse abilities and their connection to specific worlds adds a layer of immersion to the game, as players feel like they're genuinely battling through different kingdoms, each with its own challenges and guardians. The final confrontation with Bowser is a highlight of Super Mario Bros. 3, unlike the original Super Mario Bros. Where Bowser is repeated as the main antagonist throughout the game. Mario 3 builds anticipation by having players face his minions, the Koopa Kids, before the final showdown. Adding to the rich variety of boss battles in Super Mario Bros. 3 are the Boom Boom encounters. Boom Boom serves as a mini-boss, and defeating him is a requirement to gain access to the fortress's key, which unlocks the later section of that specific world map. The inclusion of Boom Boom fights offers a nice refresher between the Koopaling battles and provides players with an opportunity to test their skills without being overly daunting. Boom Boom's attacks become progressively more challenging as players advance through the game, demanding increasing precision and strategy. Super Mario Bros. 3 takes the concept of power-ups to a new height by offering a wide range of them. The item spread is enhanced so much from the previous 2 Mario games. Hell, even Super Mario World fell shy of the items in comparison to Mario 3. With that said, the diversity in items ensures that players always have something new and exciting to discover and experiment with. This abundance of power-ups not only keeps the gameplay fresh and engaging, but also encourages players to explore levels thoroughly to find secret items and hidden blocks that may contain rare power-ups. It may also add in an element of strategy, as players must decide which power-up is best suited for specific challenges or stages. The mushroom turns Mario into Super Mario, turning him twice his normal size and enabling him to take an extra hit before a loss of life when Small Mario. The Fire Flower turns Mario into Fire Mario, enabling him to shoot fireballs. The Starman turns any form of Mario into Invincible Mario, making him invincible for a few seconds. The Super Leaf turns Mario into Raccoon Mario, enabling him to fly for a short period of time and attack with his tail. The Hammer Suit turns Mario into the Hammer Mario, enabling him to throw hammers and allowing him to duck to block fire attacks. It's probably worth noting that Hammer Mario cannot slide. The frog suit turns Mario into Frog Mario, enabling him to swim much easier. However, his running abilities are decreased. Like the hammer suit, Frog Mario can't slide. The Tanuki suit turns Mario into Tanuki Mario. With the same abilities as Raccoon Mario, the additional ability to turn into stone for a few seconds is also present. The Karibo's shoe is obtained from specific Goombas, and this is only seen in World 5-3. It enables Mario to hop over hazards such as spikes, and really just looks fucking cool. The 1-Up Mushroom, it's as simple as just giving Mario or Luigi an extra life. And finally, the P-Wing turns Mario into Raccoon Mario and allows him to fly for an unlimited time or until he is damaged. Upon completing a level, the leaf is kept, but you are no longer granted unlimited flight. Only a basic leaf remains. Now, in regard to power-ups being present only on the world map, we have the Warp Whistle, which Mario or Luigi plays this and a tornado takes them to a warp zone. The Hammer, upon using this it breaks rocks on the world map. The Music Box puts the Hammer Bros to sleep, so Mario or Luigi can pass. The Cloud allows Mario or Luigi to skip a level, and the Anchor keeps the airship where it is, making it far less annoying when it comes to dying in the airship level. These power-ups are found through secrets or from beating minigames found on the map. While Super Mario World does have a smaller item spread compared to Mario 3, the addition of Yoshi brought a unique and charming dynamic to the gameplay. Yoshi offered new gameplay mechanics such as the ability to eat enemies, stomp on spiked foes, and fly with wings. All these features introduced their own layer of strategy and interaction. Alongside mechanics like a higher item spread in levels and checkpoints, this helped make the game compensate in places where it lacked. Item storage in Super Mario Bros. 3 is a significant departure from its predecessor, Super Mario Bros. Where power-ups were used immediately upon obtaining an item, in Mario 3, players can hold multiple power-ups simultaneously, but they need to be activated before starting a level. This strategic element adds depth to the gameplay, as players must decide which power-up to take into a level based on their understanding of the level's challenges and their personal playstyle. Comparing this item storage system to Super Mario World, the major difference is that players can only hold one item at a time. If they collect a new power-up whilst already having one, the previous power-up is replaced. However, in Mario 3, players can store multiple power-ups and choose which one they want to use for a level. This makes it far more useful and more of a dynamic feature. As well as this, it also adds to the difficulty. Holding an extra power-up in Super Mario World gave players the chance to retain an extra hit point, making the game and its levels easier. But with this not being the case in Mario 3, it makes the game slightly less forgiving and more challenging, which personally to me makes the game a little more fun, considering that the game isn't all that difficult until after World 4. The item storage system in Super Mario Bros. 3 has left a lasting impact on the Mario series, and its influence can be seen in many subsequent Mario games. New Super Mario Bros. U and U Deluxe are no exceptions to that fact, having applied the exact same storage system mechanic in that game, just with far less slots and arguably worse items than 3. Super Mario Bros. 3 marked the beginning of minigames in the Mario series, introducing players to a diverse range of entertaining challenges outside of the traditional platforming levels. Prior to this installment, the only minigame-esque feature in the series were the slot machines in Super Mario Bros. 2, but even they were a relatively minor addition compared to the extensive variety found in Super Mario Bros. 3. Scattered throughout the world maps of Super Mario 3 were hidden Toad houses, each hosting a similar minigame. Toads offer an entertaining random selection minigame in which players select a chest and in doing so, earns the player a possibility of one of the various power-ups and items across the game. The objective of the N-Spade memory game is to uncover cards and find matching pairs, leading to various hidden prizes, examples being lives, coins and power-ups. Accessing one of the Spade panel minigames allows Mario or Luigi to play a game hosted by Toad, in which there are 3 slots that spin like a slot machine. What it lands on varies between a panel of Mushroom, Fireflower, and a Starman. The player has to try and line up all 3 panels to show a matching image. The reward for doing so is extra lives. Getting a complete Mushroom, Fireflower, or Starman picture rewards Mario or Luigi with 2, 3, or 5 extra lives. This is similar to the reward given by a level goal, when getting the same picture in 3 consecutive levels. Mini-bosses on world maps are something I'm also going to consider as a minigame. In Super Mario Bros. 3, a new introduced feature in the Mario series are mini-bosses on world maps. These mini-boss encounters allow players to test their skills in brief battles to earn items and power-ups. This added an extra little sense of exploration to the game. In contrast to Mario Bros. 3, Super Mario World did not emphasize minigames so prominently. It lacked the diverse minigame experiences that players had come to enjoy in its predecessor. Throughout Mario 3, you'll encounter toad houses scattered across the world map. The blue toad houses in particular are accessed by collecting a specific number of coins in certain levels. After you meet the coin requirement, a toad house will appear on your world map, allowing you to play the secret minigame. The exact coin requirements for each toad house may vary, but they usually provide items like P-Wings or the Anchor. The Warp Whistle is a secret item which allows you to skip entire worlds and progress further in the game quickly. There are 3 Warp Whistles in the game, but it only requires 2 in order for you to reach World 7. The Anchor is another secret power-up, however this one, instead of being found secretly in levels, is found in the White Toad House minigame. In the original Super Mario Bros. Released in 1985, the 2-player mode was not cooperative. It was more of a turn-based system. Players would alternate turns after completing a level or losing a life. One player would control Mario and the other would control Luigi, but they couldn't interact or play simultaneously. The same went for Mario 2, besides from the obvious increase in characters. However, Super Mario Bros. 3 also follows the original turn-based system. This is unless players want to play against each other in the multiplayer battle mode. This was introduced as a head-to-head multiplayer mode, in which 2 players compete simultaneously in a little battle arena. The first player controls Mario whilst the second player controls his brother Luigi, and the objective is to collect coins whilst avoiding enemies and hazards. This adds to the competition between players but can get real boring after a short period of time. If you're like me and prefer playing the main game, then playing it multiplayer is the best way to go. The cooperative experience exposes players to far more fun, obviously making the game more memorable and enjoyable. The Nintendo Entertainment System version of Super Mario Bros. 3 featured 8-bit graphics which were impressive for its time but had limitations in terms of color depth, resolution, and sprite sizes. Whilst in comparison, Mario Bros. 3 with the enhancements from the SNES's improved hardware capabilities had the graphics significantly upgraded. The 16-bit graphics allowed for smoother animations, more detailed character sprites, and richer colors. The backgrounds and environments were enhanced with additional details and visual effects, giving the game a more polished and modern look. The music in the NES version of Super Mario Bros. 3 was iconic and memorable. Despite the limitations of the NES sound chip, the compositions were catchy and fitting, with various levels and environments contributing to the overall charm and atmosphere of the game. The negatives in regards to the limited sound meant that the music was made relatively simple, which was unsurprisingly lacking when compared to the Super Mario All-Stars port. In this version, the music received a major upgrade thanks to the SNES's more advanced sound chip. The 16-bit music had higher quality samples, greater instrumental variety, and more complex compositions. The best example of how different the music sounded is by comparing the 2 athletic themes together. The Super Mario All-Stars version of Super Mario Bros. 3 on the SNES is without a doubt more superior in both graphics and sound compared to the NES version. The 16-bit port takes a full advantage of the SNES's capabilities, resulting in smoother, more detailed graphics and higher quality music. The improvements made in the SNES version elevates the overall experience, making it far more enjoyable to be played through. In conclusion, Super Mario Bros. 3 is a masterpiece that continues to captivate players of all ages. Its exceptional gameplay, delightful graphics, and memorable music combine to create an unforgettable gaming experience. Decades after its release, Mario 3 remains an essential title in the history of video games, and is a testament to Nintendo's ability to create timeless classics, and it even managed to extend beyond the gaming community. It featured in movies like The Wizard and Beethoven, where in The Wizard it plays a significant role in the plot.
Super Mario Brothers!
And in Beethoven, it was seen as nothing more than a mere cameo. The iconic image of Mario and his raccoon tail and ears has become synonymous with the character and has been referenced in various pop culture works. However, my final rating for Mario Bros. 3 is a 9 out of 10.